I always thought, oh, if you're going to do a vinyl pressing, you have to get like, at least 1,000 records, or there being some sort of minimum. And I know with your records, it's a fairly low like print run. And I know with your new records, your new record, Softer Scissors, you're doing like a regular black and then a random colored vinyl. And it's like, random? How is he doing that?
It was kind of the situation where my rep at Microform, which is a company here in Toronto that does pressing, he suggested they have like basically, so when they do colored vinyl, it's these pellets are like tiny pellets of color that they throw into the hopper with the, I don't know if they throw it in with the black or just, I guess if they're doing a solid color, they'll just throw the pellets in. Like it's just, and so what happens is they'll do a run of something and they'll have leftover pellets. So he offered to do that. He could do that. And I thought that was kind of cool. I thought it was like, when I made the album, I pictured it as I kind of wanted it to be a bit of a mess in a way, because it felt very much like the pandemic. I think by the time the recording was done, I think it's very cohesive. So it's not quite the mess I thought it was going to be. But that played into that vibe a little bit. So I was like, well, that'd be cool. Just see what colors I get. And I can even show you one if you want.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is the album, Softer Scissors. This is coming out April 19th. April 19th. The release party is April 20th. And I dealt with the vinyl early because there can be really big delays in vinyl.
Oh, for sure.
So I got it like a month ago or a few weeks ago, so it was great. So
especially with like Record Store Day coming up. I'm sure there's always kind of clogs up the queue of records being pressed.
Yeah, you're like fine until like Adele needs an album or Taylor Swift, then then they end up clogging all the plants. So this is how it ended up turning out, which I thought was great. Like this kind of like tortoiseshell kind of thing. And this one's red, and which is perfect for the colors of the records, which are a lot of reds. And I couldn't be happier with how it turned out. But there's some kind of freaky ones that were kind of this like yellow-green color that I thought was very cool as well. Yeah. So, it was a good process.
Out of the batch of, is it 100 that you...
100, have the colored, and then 300 black vinyl.
How many different colors are within the colored batch? Or it really is
sort of, I would say maybe like 5 or 6, and then there's a few that are kind of in betweeners, like kind of like a more muddy, it's still cool, but kind of more of a muddy, mix. But some of them were very surprising. Like it was very cool to get done, and they're all kind of unique, which is nice.
How working with someone local, luckily, like how much lead time do you have to kind of put in to get your pressings done? Just to kind of give the community an idea.
How long was it? I think I got the process started in maybe November. I'm going to say November. I probably got it started, and then I ended up getting the records in January, which was great.
That's actually pretty quick.
And I think like I haven't waited too much. I've heard of people waiting like 6 months for their records before, which sounds like a horror show to me. But I've sort of lucked out. It'll be like 2 months, 3 months. So it's good to give yourself a lot of leeway if you're going to do vinyl.
I'm not aware of like the different pressings. Does Microform specifically work with more indie artists, or do they actually do kind of bigger records as well?
I think they do some bigger records as well. It's kind of cool. They'll give you a tour of the floor, which was like a really good perk for me. Like that was that. Like I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. So I got to walk around and see how it's done, and they have like stuff lying around everywhere that they're working on. So I know I think they're working on.
Did you have to sign an NDA before going through there?
No, thankfully. So I'm going to tell you all their secrets now. No,
well, you never know because you never know what other artist's album is just kind of being pressed at the time.
Yeah, and they are only because I'll say this only because I've seen it on them posted on their like Instagram and stuff. I think they're doing a Tragically Hip live record or something that they're
so the Tragically Hip live record they're the ambassadors for this year's record store day. And that is the record.
So I think they're pressing that at Microform. And then they had a lot of like neat because I think they'll have labels run their stuff through them. So they'll have these kind of like odd labels that release like live albums from classic rock bands or something. So I would see some unique things around there. I can't think of what they were offhand, but things like, I don't know, UFO or something like that. Like, I may be making that up, but I think they were one of the bands. It was kind of interesting to see. And a lot of like independent bands, metal bands, whatever, rock bands. It was kind of cool.
If you're interested in picking up Shawn's new album on vinyl, just visit his Bandcamp page at shawnclarke.bandcamp.com. For a limited time, he's giving us a 15% discount to our viewers just using the code VinylJunkie.